Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Pujayam Diriye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seve Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, Chapter 7, Lord Chaitanya in 5 features, text 33 onwards. So Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is describing both Panch Tattva and the mercy they gave, they benefited the whole world with their mercy. Eta bali mane kichu kari avichar sannyas ashrama prabhu kailanika. So ete bali means seeing that the Mayavadis and others were fleeing, Lord Chaitanya thought, I wanted everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead. But some of them have escaped. Therefore, I shall devise a trick to drown them also. So thinking like that, that all these are running away. What's the point then? I need to devise something. So what he did, then he accepted the sannyas order of life. Thus the Lord accepted the sannyas order of life after full consideration. There was no need for Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept sannyas, for he is God himself and therefore has nothing to do with the material bodily concept of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not identify himself with any of the 8 varnas and ashrams, namely Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grastavan, Prasan, Sannyas. He identified himself as a Supreme Spirit. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or for that matter, any pure devotee, never identifies with these social and spiritual divisions of life. For a devotee is always transcendental to these different variations of society. Nevertheless, Lord Chaitanya decided to accept sannyas on the grounds that when he became a sannyasi, everyone would show him respect and in that way be favored. So just by showing respect to a sannyasi like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they would get benefited. And even Mayavadis or everybody. And in fact, when Mahaprabhu came back from Jagannath Puri to Navadvip, after he took sannyas, he left for Jagannath Puri, and then he came back once. He came to this Phulya Gram, which is modern day Navadvip. And you'll be amazed to hear or read that description of that pastime. How everybody from everywhere was running to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not just meet, just have a one darshan of his. Because they understood who he was, not as with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they thought somebody very, very special, sannyasi, and we didn't give him proper respects when he was around. And it's just crazy description how everybody ran. They swam Ganges, and those who could not swim, they just went on boats, and the boats, they were overloaded with people. Some of the boats capsized, and they just grabbed onto one of the wooden planks and they crossed the river. And some of them, they couldn't find anything to take them across, so they just jumped with the chadar on they spread the chadar on Ganges, and they just crossed the river like that with Mahaprabhu's mercy. Nobody drowned. So it's amazing description of how Mahaprabhu gave. So this was one of the reasons he took sannyas. Of course, this is external reason. and so that people would respect a sannyasi and they get the mercy. Although there was actually no need for him to accept sannyas, he did so for the benefit of those who might think him an ordinary human being. The main purpose of his accepting sannyas was to deliver the Mayavadi sannyasis. This will be evident later in this chapter. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has explained the term Mayavadi as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to material conception of life. A Mayavadi is one who considers the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be made of Maya. To be made of Maya or material. He says it's material. And who also considers the abode of the Lord and the process of approaching him or devotional service also to be Maya. This is all illusion. Jagat is also illusion. Anybody is there with material body, it's also, they don't consider the body of the Supreme Lord to be spiritual or transcendent. This is how they understand or misunderstand. The Mayavadi considers all the paraphernalia of devotion service to be Maya. Maya refers to material existence, which is characterized by the reactions of fruitive activities. Mayavadis consider devotional service to be among such fruitive activities. According to them, when Bhagavats, devotees, are purified by philosophical speculation, they will come to the real point of liberation. Those who speculate in this way regarding devotional service are called kutarkikas or false logicians. And those who consider devotional service to be fruitive activity are called karmanishthas. So they have faith in karma kand. Those who criticize devotional service are called nindaks, blasphemers. Similarly, non-devotees who consider devotional activities to be material are called pashandis. Pashandis are also atheists. And scholars with a similar viewpoint are called adham paduyas. Adham paduyas. There's so many. It's just amazing how people pass off as big scholars and they have so much of knowledge and degrees. When it comes to be simple as a servant of the Lord, they are not ready to accept it. When it comes down to being a simple, do some devotion service, not ready to do. So what's the use of that kind of gyan or some technical knowledge? The Kutarkikas, Nindaks, Pashandis, and Adham Paduyas are all avoided the benefit of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement of developing love of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt compassion for them, and it is for this reason that he decided to accept the sannyas order. For by seeing him as a sannyasi, they would offer him respects. The sannyas order is still respected in India. Indeed, the very dress of a sannyasi still commands respect from the Indian public. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas to facilitate preaching his devotional cult, although otherwise he had no need to accept the fourth order of spiritual life. So this was going to facilitate his preaching mission. So that's why he accepted sannyas. But it's, as we'll study later, it's not easy to keep the vows of sannyas order. Very difficult. 26 वत्सर चेला गृहस्था आशा में पंचविंशति वर्षे कैलायति धर्म. Well, it's a 24. Actually, it should say 24. In Bengali, it's said like this. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained in householder life for 24 years, and on the verge of his 25th year, he accepted the sannyas order. So remained in householder life for 24 years. He wasn't, of course, he got married, I don't remember when, maybe, I think 13 or 14, something like that, if I'm not wrong. So he was a brahmachari before, and then he got married, and in 25th year, he took sannyas. There are 4 orders of spiritual life, namely brahmacharya, grihastha, vanprastha, and sannyas. And in each of these ashrams, there are 4 divisions. The divisions of brahmacharya ashram are Savitra, Prajapatya, Brahma, and Brihat. And the divisions of grihastha ashram are Varta, means professionals, Sanchaya, accumulators, Shalina, those who do not ask anything from anyone, and Shilonchana, those who collect grains from the paddy fields. Wow. Similarly, the divisions of Vanprastha ashram are Vaikhanas, Valkhilya, Adambra, and Fenam. And the divisions of sannyas we were discussing the other day, Kutichak, Bahudak, Hansa, and Nishkriya. There are 2 kinds of sannyasis, so-called Dhiras and Narottamas, as mentioned in Bhagavatam. At the end of the month of January in the year 1432 Shakabda, or Christian time AD 1510, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sannyas order from Keshav Bharati, who belonged to Shankar Sampradaya. So 1510 is when he accepted sannyas, and he appeared in 1486 according to English calendar. Sannyas karya Prabhu kaila akarshan yate kapalanchila tarkikadigan. After accepting the sannyas order, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attracted the attention of all those who had evaded him, beginning with the logicians. Paduya Pashandi Karmi Ninda Kadiyata Tara Asi Prabhu Pae Hahe Avanata. Thus the students, infidels, fruitive workers, and critics all came to surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Aparad Shamaila Dubila Prema Jale Keva Edai Bi Prabhur Prema Mahajale. Lord Chaitanya excused them all, and they all merged into the ocean of devotional service, for no one can escape the unique, loving network of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was an ideal acharya. An acharya is an ideal teacher who knows the purport of the revealed scriptures, behaves exactly according to the injunctions, and teaches his students to adopt these principles also. As an ideal acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu devised ways to capture all kinds of atheists and materialists. Every acharya has a specific means of propagating his spiritual movement with the aim of bringing men to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the method of one acharya may be different from that, but the ultimate goal is never neglected. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu devised many ways to capture all kinds of atheists and materialists. And every acharya, as Prabhupada said, they adopt different ways, but the principle remains the same. Tasmat kenapi, Srila Rupa Goswami recommends, Tasmat kenapi upayena mana Krishna niveshe, sarve buddhi nishedha sur etayor eva kinkara. An acharya should devise a means by which people may somehow or other come to Krishna consciousness. First, they should become Krishna conscious, means all the acharyas first. This is the first duty. They should become Krishna conscious. Not advertising that, oh, I am Krishna conscious and I'm doing everything as a service to Prabhupada, or service to Krishna. The first thing is they should become and remain Krishna conscious. First, they should become Krishna conscious, and all the prescribed rules and regulations may later gradually be introduced. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we follow this policy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For example, since boys and girls in the Western countries freely intermingle, special concessions regarding their customs and habits are necessary to bring them to Krishna consciousness. The Acharya must devise a means to bring them to devotional service. Therefore, although I am a sannyasi, Prabhupada writes, I sometimes take part in getting boys and girls married. Although in the history of sannyas, no sannyasi has personally taken part in marrying his disciples. And as a sannyasi, he was not supposed to, but as a guru, he did that, and also to teach them. He taught everything to his disciples, whether male or female. He taught them everything. The girls who joined him in the beginning, they didn't know how to even put on sari. There was no sari in US at that time. Prabhupada taught them everything, cooking, how to cook, how to clean, how to pretty much everything. Dhotis, how men should wear, put on dhotis, have shikha, put on tilak. It's just mind-boggling. Maybe we should read Prabhupada Lilamrita also sometime. Maybe after Chaitanya Charitamrita we can start. Then we'll really appreciate what Prabhupada did and how he did, how he achieved everything that he did. Sabha nistarite Prabhu kripa avatar, sabha nistarite kare chaturiya pan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to deliver all the fallen souls. Therefore, he devised many methods to liberate them from the clutches of Maya. So, whole idea is tasmat kenapi upayana mana Krishna niveshit. Somehow or other, or some another place it is a yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshe. Somehow or other, engage your mind in the service of Krishna. It's the concern of the Acharya to show mercy to the fallen souls. In this connection, Desh Kal Patra, the place, the time, and the object should be taken into consideration. Since the European and American boys and girls in our Krishna consciousness movement preach together, less intelligent men criticize that they are mingling without restriction. In Europe and America, boys and girls mingle unrestrictedly and have equal rights. Therefore, it's not possible to completely separate the men from women. However, we are thoroughly instructing both men and women how to preach, and actually they're preaching wonderfully. Of course, we are strictly prohibiting illicit sex. Boys and girls who are not married are not allowed to sleep together or live together, and there are separate arrangements for boys and girls in every temple. Grihasthas live outside the temple, for in the temple we do not allow even husband and wife to live together. The results of this are wonderful. Both men and women are preaching the gospel of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna with redoubled strength. In this verse, the words Subha nistarite kare chaturiyam indicate that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to deliver one and all. Therefore, it is a principle that a preacher must strictly follow the rules and regulations laid down in the Shastras, yet at the same time devise a means by which the preaching work to reclaim the fallen may go on with full force. So that is the whole idea. First, just like Mahaprabhu said, for people who were born in India, Bharat Bhumite Manusya Janma Haila Jahar. Janma Sarthak Kare Kara Parapakar. So first is Janma Sarthak Kare. We should become Krishna conscious and then preach to others. That's the whole idea of the perfection of life. Tabe nij bhakta kela yat male chadi sabe ina matra kashira mayavadi. All were converted into devotees of Lord Chaitanya, even the Malechas and Yavans. Only the impersonalist followers of Shankaracharya evaded. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that although Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted Muslims and other Malechas into devotees, the impersonalist followers of Shankaracharya could not be converted. After accepting the renounced order of life, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted many karma nishthas who were addicted to fruitive activities. Many great logicians like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Nindaks, blasphemers like Prakashanand Saraswati, Pashandis or non-devotees like Jagayan Madhai and Adham Paduyas, degraded students like Mukunda and his friends. All of them gradually became devotees of the Lord, even the Pathans, Muslims. But the worst offenders, the impersonalists, were extremely difficult to convert, for they very tactfully escaped the devices of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these Mayavadis, very, very difficult to convert. So here Prabhupada mentioned about Muslims. There were some Pathans. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling from Vrindavan to Kashi, there, the whole, not many devotees were there. I don't know, Mahaprabhu was there, Balbhadra Bhattacharya, maybe one or two more, or just two of these. I'm forgetting that details. So they were surrounded by these Pathans who came on the horses and with the swords and were ready to kill them. But just by looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just by looking at him, their hearts melted, hearts transformed. And they got converted. I don't know what their lineage now, but yes, that time they were converted. In describing the Kashira Mayavadi, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has explained that persons who are bewildered by empiric knowledge or direct sensual perception, and who thus consider that even this limited material world can be gauged by their material estimations, conclude that anything that one can discern by direct sense perception is but Maya or illusion. They maintain that although the absolute truth is beyond the range of sense perception, it includes no spiritual variety or enjoyment. That is their misunderstanding. According to Kashira Mayavadis, so the Kashi has been the center house of Mayavadis. The spiritual world is simply void. They do not believe in the personality of the absolute truth or in its varieties of activities in the spiritual world. Although they have their own arguments, which are not very strong, they have no conception of the variegated activities of the absolute truth. These impersonalists who are followers of Shankaracharya are generally known as Kashira Mayavadis, impersonalists residing in Varanasi. Near Varanasi, there is another group of impersonalists who are known as Saranath Mayavadis. Outside the city of Varanasi is a place known as Saranath, where there is a big Buddhist stupa. Many followers of Buddhist philosophy live there, and they're known as Saranath Mayavadis. The impersonalists of Saranath differ from those of Varanasi. While Varanasi impersonalists propagate the idea that the impersonal Brahman is truth, whereas material varieties are false. The Sarnath impersonalists do not even believe that the absolute truth of Brahman can be understood as the opposite of Maya or illusion. According to their vision, materialism is the only manifestation of the absolute truth. Again, they're so confused, but they believe very strongly in this. And they will try to convert anybody or I would say, confuse them with their philosophy. Actually, both the Kashira and the Saranath Mayavadi, as well as any other philosophers who have no knowledge of the spirit soul, are advocates of utter materialism. None of them have clear knowledge regarding the absolute or the spiritual. Philosophers like the Saranath Mayavadis, who do not believe in the spiritual existence of the absolute truth, but consider material varieties to be everything, do not believe that there are two kinds of nature, inferior, material, and superior, or spiritual, as described in Bhagavad Gita. Actually, neither the Varanasi nor Saranath Mayavadis accept the principles of Bhagavad Gita due to a poor fund of knowledge. So they just read their own scriptures and follow them. Since these impersonalists who do not have perfect spiritual knowledge cannot understand the principles of Bhakti Yoga, they must be classified among the non-devotees who are against the Krishna consciousness movement. We sometimes feel inconvenienced by the hindrances offered by these impersonalists, but we do not care about their so-called philosophy. For we are propagating our own philosophy as presented in Bhagavad Gita as it is, and getting successful results. Theorizing as if devotional service were subject to their mental speculation, both kinds of Mayavadi impersonalists conclude that the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita is a creation of Maya, and that Krishna, devotional service, and the devotee are also Maya. Therefore, as stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadhi. All the Mayavadis are offenders to Lord Krishna. It is not possible for them to understand the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, we do not value their philosophical conclusions. However, experts such quarrelsome impersonalists are in putting forward their so-called logic. We defeat them in every respect and go forward with the Krishna consciousness movement. Their imaginative mental speculation cannot deter the progress of the Krishna consciousness movement, which is completely spiritual and is never under the control of such Mayavadis. So as I said, whenever something about Mayavad comes, and Prabhupada gives long purport to that. So anyway, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came to give, and then further Prabhupada, really heavy with his books, he just put down Mayavadi philosophy like anything. So this is what we have to do. Study these books, become devotees, and try to preach to others. That's it. Okay, so we'll stop here. See anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, you all have safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.